Senator Agadaga.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, Senator Chief Benson Agadaga, representing Bayelsa East in Bayelsa State, I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague for the adoption of the votes and proceedings of yesterday. I so second. Thank you, Mr. President.
Those in favor of the motion moved by Senator Ane and then seconded by Senator Benson Agadaga, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The votes and proceeding of yesterday is hereby adopted. The leader of the Senate, the acting leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators.
Point of order, Senator Jibrin Issa Ochocho. What order?
Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, very distinguished colleagues, I am Issa Jibrin, representing the very good people of Kogi East. Your Excellency, I want to come under Order 42, personal explanation. And
you may go ahead.
By the indulgence of the Senate and the leave of the President of the Senate, a senator may make a personal explanation, although there be no question before the Senate, but no controversial matter may be brought forward, nor may debate arise upon the explanation. The terms of the proposed statement shall be submitted in detail to the President of the Senate when his leave to make it is sought.
Go ahead.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, at the plenary yesterday, in the course of the debate arising from the presentation of the bill by Senator Moye, he did accuse me of misleading the Senate, that Kogi State has not been recognized and has not been receiving the 13% derivation fund attributable to oil producing companies, oil producing states. Your Excellency, I decided to go further, okay, because I was sure of what I was saying. I decided to go further to discuss with the Kogi State government, and they have forwarded to me all the relevant documents stating that Kogi State has since been recognized as an oil producing state and has been getting the 13% derivation fund since 2022. And if you will permit me, I will go further to expatiate on it in the motion here.
Since you have stated the fact and you've confirmed that your governor has told you and you've gotten your information, well, if you can submit that to the clerk later, but we have noted, your explanation. The Senate has noted, and we have taken your explanation as authentic, being a respected senator here. So you don't have any problem. I think it's noted. You can sit down. Senator Ireti Kingibe, what order? Okay, you can go ahead.
Matter for discussion, if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of the day's sitting, and the President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claim unless he is satisfied that the matter is definite and urgent. If the claim is allowed by the President of the Senate and the leave of the Senate is given by at least 1/5 of all the senators, the matter shall stand over till the next legislative day. A senator moving a motion under Combined Order 41 and 51 shall ensure that copies of the motion are available for all senators when approval to move the motion is granted. Order 51. Notice shall not be dispensed with in the case of a motion or in respect of any other proceeding for which notice is required except with the consent of the President of the Senate and the general consent of the senators present.
Well, you can just give a brief of what you want to present.
Okay, yeah. The Senate notes that on February 18, 2024, a complaint alleging illicit activities bordering on stealing, abduction, and trafficking of...
No, what you need to do, just give a summary, just a brief, so that we'll put that to vote, so that they can, before you begin the motion. Please. Just give a synopsis. You see, Senator, you are going to read your motion, but we need to put to vote. If
40 children in Gwagwalada, and she's been arrested. They've retrieved 4 out of the 40 children, and pressure is being put on the police from somewhere to release her. And the community and all of us, and that's why I want the intervention of the Senate to ensure that she's not released on bail until the whereabouts of the children are provided. The police must be made to ensure that the children...
Thank you very much. Senator Kingibe approached me this morning, telling me what she had just told the entire Senate, and I felt this is a very cogent issue, something very important, something that deals with children, and these children are still in captivity, and all effort to retrieve them should be something of concern to all of us. So is it the view of the Senate that we should take this motion now? Those in favor, please say aye. Yeah. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So you may read your motion.
Success Nwankwo and her accomplices to book on alleged malfeasance of stealing, abduction, and trafficking of children in the Gwagwalada, Kwali, and Kuje area councils of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Sponsored by, my name is Senator Ireti Kingibe, and the Senate notes that on February 18, 2024, a complaint alleging illicit activities bordering on stealing, abduction, and trafficking of children perpetrated by one Madam Success Nwankwo of the Gwagwalada, Kwali, and Kuje area councils of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, was addressed to me in a letter of complaint forwarded by the Missing Children's Parents Association, a non-governmental organization based in Gwagwalada Area Council. Note also that in the said letter of complaint, it was alleged that the ugly menace started in the wake of 2018 and continued unabated to date in spite of relentless efforts to stem the tide of this ugly incest scenario. Further notes that on the 4th of January 2024, Madam Success Nwankwo was apprehended by the police with the help of a vigilante group along Gwagwalada-Zuba Expressway with 2 abducted children, and upon investigation by the police, it was unraveled that the acts of stealing, abduction, and trafficking of children were carried out by the syndicate, and this led to the arrest of 3 accomplices while others are at large. Worried that since the arrest of the perpetrators and some of her accomplices, only 4 children have been recovered out of 40 which were alleged to be missing. Concerned that this organized crime has become a great threat to the peace and well-being of the 3 area councils and their environs, and as such, it is imperative that urgent steps are taken to address this matter. Accordingly, my prayers are that the Senate resolves to urge the Nigerian Police Department of State Services and other relevant security agencies to be thoroughly involved in the matter with a view to bringing all the perpetrators to book, put modalities in place for the recovery of the missing children, and to ensure that justice is not only seen to be done, but must be done speedily to serve as deterrent as well as assuage the feelings of the victims. And also urge the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons and other related offenses to, as a matter of urgency, put operational mechanisms in place for prompt responses to reported cases of human trafficking and baby factory incidences across the country. I so move.
Senator Tony Oyedu, can you second and then make your contribution?
Thank you, my dear President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Dr. Tony Nwoye. I represent the people of Anambra North Senatorial District. I hereby second this motion, very important motion by my sister, Senator Ireti Kingibe. And in seconding this motion, I want to make very few contributions. That few contributions of mine should be based on the fact that this Senate has to rise up against this ugly monster, a hydra-headed monster, as well as a cancer, that is child trafficking and abduction. As it concerns the subject matter, children are the pride of the society. The children who are helpless, children who don't have people who can defend them, children who don't have people who can fend for them, it doesn't talk well. That some people can sit down and their joy will be to have a baby factory where they will have people, pregnant young ladies, or they will contract pregnant young ladies. At the end of the day, they will take their children and go and sell in the name of children trafficking. I feel that this, our Senate, should rise up. And I feel that this motion is very timeless. I believe that the Department of State Security Service, as well as Nigerian Police, should rise to the occasion. Before we go to the prayers, I second this motion, I support this motion, and I believe that this is something we have to fight together. I so second my president.
Well, okay, you make your contribution, then the distinguished senator will round up so that we can go to the prayers. So just 2 minutes.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to wholeheartedly support this motion. And in doing that, Your Excellency, I think we need to go a step further. The provision of trafficking in persons and other related offenses, NAPTIC, needs to register all these motherless homes that are spread all over the country. They also need to come up with operational guidelines for those motherless homes, because that is where these people are taking advantage. Okay, they go under the cover of, taking care of children that are littering all over the place and are motherless, so to say. I think we need to have a formula to regulate their activities. We need to know the sources of funds, okay, and we need to know the quality of those who are managing the affairs of these motherless homes. It is very important. There must be a guideline. Thank you very much.
Senator Banigo, Her Excellency, you round up, then we go to the prayers.
Thank you. Thank you very much, my distinguished Senate President, distinguished colleagues, the Parliament, Harry Banigo, representing Rivers Senatorial West. I want to wholeheartedly support this motion brought up by my dear sister, Senator Kingibe. This is a most unfortunate situation that we appear to find ourselves in. According to the motion, it has been on since 2018 and is still on. Not only do they sell these children, they bury their cases, their files, everything that has to be done to stop this, to negate this thing from spreading. I'm sure that if the security agencies go into it very well, they'll find that it's not just these 3 area councils. There are other area councils that are also involved. And I want to while wholeheartedly supporting her urges to this National Senate, I want to also add a third urge, that the Social Development Secretariat of FCT should also be involved because of their involvement in the shelters, in registering shelters and orphanages. So they should be called to order as well. because it is not fair for people to own so-called orphanages in the guise of selling children and using the parts of these innocent ones for diabolic purposes. It must stop. And I'm glad that this Senate can do the job. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Yes, before we go to prayers, Senator Olalere Kamarudin has some information in respect to this issue. I think we should allow him to avail of that information. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Olalere Oyewumi. I represent also West Senatorial District. While supporting this motion is in entirety, I equally want the Senate to give kudos to the police as well as the vigilantes of this area, because it was the outcome of their effort that now unravel most of the other heinous activities that all these people are committing. And what the community is looking for is just the completion of the assignment so that they can take a final glory. If they have arrested these people and they keep it under the table, nobody is going to thank them. So I just want us to commend the effort of the Nigerian police, commend the effort of the vigilante and the good synergy that exists between them that led to the arrest of the woman in question, and urge them not to stop there, to make sure that the matter is followed to the logical conclusion. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. We now move to the prayers. Prayer 1, all the Nigerian police, Department of State Services and other relevant security agencies to be thoroughly involved in the matter with a view to bring all the perpetrators to book. Put modalities in place for recovery of the missing children and to ensure that justice is not only seen to be done, but must be done speedily to serve as deterrent and as well as assuage the feelings of the victims. Those in favor of this prayer, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Also urge, prayer 2, also urge the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons and other related offenses, NAPTIP, as a matter of urgency, put operational mechanisms in place for prompt responses to reported cases of human trafficking and baby factory incidences across the country. Those in favor of this prayer, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Let me commend Senator Kingibe for bringing forward this motion. Additional prayer. Senator Banigo.
The social development of FCT, the social department of FCT should be urged to make sure that their registration of orphanages and shelters should be properly checked and verified. The FCT social department.
Seconder. Okay, Senator Habib. Senator Habib.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Mustafa Habib, representing Jigawa Southwest. I support the additional prayer that is moved by my sister, Aisosta Khan. Thank you.
Those in favor of the additional prayer by Senator Banigo and supported or seconded by Senator Mustafa Habib, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Let me commend Senator Ereti Kingibe for bringing forward this motion. You've done very well as a representative, and this is what is expected of every senator, to be up and doing in checking what is happening in our various senatorial zones. And this is a matter that needs to be attended to. We can't allow a situation where an individual will be taking keys into her custody and not in the best way as prescribed by the law. These children must be accounted for, they must be retrieved, and they must be returned to their children. And the madam you're talking about, Madam Success, or whatever her name is, she must be brought to justice. She must ask some questions. Why did she do what she did? Did she act in accordance to our external laws and regulations? She must answer these questions. So we thank you and we urge you to continue on this trajectory. And all of us, we should be up and doing. We should check what is going on in our societies and our central zone. Thank you very much. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the first business of the day is the presentation of bill standing in the name of Senator Ahmed Wadada on the Federal Airports Authority Act Amendment Bill 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the subtitle of the bill.
Okay. Okay, the Clerk of the Senate, the Clerk.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Airports Authority Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 366, first reading.
Federal Airports Authority Act Amendment Bill 2024 SB 366, first reading taken. The Clerk of the Senate. The Leader, sorry, the Leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the second business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Benson Agadaga on the Social Assistance Bill 2024 SB 369. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
The Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Social Assistance Bill 2024, SB 369, first reading.
Social Assistance Bill 2024 SB 369, first reading taken. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the third business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Iya Abbas on the Federal Institute of Technology and Innovation Establishment Bill 2024, SB 370. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Institute for Technology and Innovation Establishment Bill 2024, SB 370, first reading.
Federal Institute for Technology and Innovation Establishment Bill 2024 SB 370, first reading taken. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the fourth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Salihu Mustafa on the Nigerian Economic Diversification Bill 2024 SB 371. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Nigerian Economic Diversification Bill 2024, SB 371, first reading.
The Nigerian Academic Diversification Bill 2024 SB 371 first reading taken. Clerk of the Senate. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the fifth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Olubi Fadeyi Oluwole on the Nigerian National Subsidy Fund Establishment Bill 2024 SB 372. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Nigerian National Subsidy Fund Establishment Bill 2024, SB 372, first reading.
Nigerian National Subsidy Fund Establishment Bill 2024, SB 372, first reading taken. The Senate Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished senator, the sixth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in my name on the National Assembly Library Trust Fund Act Amendment Bill 2024 SB 373. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
The clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Assembly Library Trust Fund Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 373, first reading.
National Assembly Library Trust Fund Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading taken. The Senate Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the first order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Banking, Insurance, and Other Financial Institutions on the confirmation of the nominations of the following persons as listed on the order paper for appointment as members of the Board of Directors of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Abiru Mukail Adetokunbo, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Distinguished Senator Abiru Mukail, Chairman of the committee, you may wish to move your motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. I rise to present the report of the Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance, and Other Financial Institutions, report on the screening of 5 nominees of the President for confirmation of appointment as Board of Directors for the Central Bank of Nigeria. I so move, Mr. President.
A seconder, Senator Yai Olamilekun Adiola.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleague, Adiola Solomon Olamilekun, representing Ogun West Senatorial District. I rise to second this motion that the Senate do receive the report of the Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance, and Other Financial Institutions on the screening of the 5 nominees of the President for the confirmation of appointment as the Board of Directors for the Central Bank of Nigeria. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion moved by Senator Adetokunbo and seconded by Senator Solomon Adiola, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You may wish to present your report. Continue.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. My name once again is Senator Mukahil Adetokunbo Abiru, and I represent Lagos East Senatorial District. I rise once again to move for the consideration and approval of the report of the Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance, and Other Financial Institutions on the screening of 5 nominees of Mr. President for confirmation of appointment as members of the Board of Directors for the Central Bank of Nigeria. Introduction. The Senate at its sitting on Tuesday, 13th February 2024, considered the request of Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federation for the confirmation of appointments of 5 nominations for appointment as Board of Directors of the Central Bank of Nigeria, and referred same to the Committee on Banking, Insurance, and Other Financial Institutions for further legislative action. The request for confirmation of the nominations for the appointment of the underlisted nominees as Board of Directors of the Central Bank was made in pursuant to the provisions of sections 6, 1, and 2, D, and 10 of the Central Bank of Nigeria Act 2007, and the nominees are as follows: Mr. Robert Agbede as Director, Mr. Ado Yakubu Wanka as Director, Professor Muritala Sabo Sagagi as Director, Urom Kalu Eke as Director, and Mrs. Muslimot Olanikon Aliyu as Director. In furtherance of this legislative mandate, the committee requested for and received the curriculum vitae, security clearance, and other relevant documents of the nominees, and invited them to appear before the committee for screening. 4 of the 5 nominees appeared before the committee and were accordingly screened and on the available information as follows. So you have the resumes of all of the nominees from page 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. On page 9, note 6.0, non-appearance of Mr. Urom Kalu Eke. Mr. Urom Kalu Eke is one of the nominees for the consideration for the appointment as a member of the Board of Directors of the Central Bank of Nigeria, was not present for the screening. On note 10.7, interaction with the nominees. 4 of the nominees appeared out of the 5, and they were screened by the screening exercise, and were asked a wide range of questions regarding monetary and price stability and all of the mandates of the CBN. They demonstrated a good knowledge and understanding of the intricacies of the economy and exhibited a comprehensive grasp of economic principles. Findings on note 8, page 10. At the end of the screening exercise of the nominees, the committee's findings were as follows. 1, that their appointments are in accordance with the provisions of Section 6, 1, 2D and Section 10 of the CBN Act 2007. 2, that the recommendation of the nominees are in tandem with the provisions of Section 10 of the Act, which provides that the President, in appointing the nominees, shall have due regard to a fair representation of the financial, agricultural, and industrial and commercial interest and the principle of federal character. 3, that the nominees' performance during the screening exercise is indicative of their qualifications and suitability for the responsibilities associated with the position of a member of the Board of Directors of CBN. 4, that the nominees possess the expertise, knowledge, and professional experiences to be members of the Board of the CBN. 5, that the committee did not receive any petition against their nominations for appointment as members of the board. 6, that the nominees have been cleared by the Nigerian Police Force, DSS, and possess the Code of Conduct acknowledgement slips. Recommendations. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the Committee on Banking, Insurance, and Other Financial Institutions, after robust engagement with the nominees and being satisfied with their experiences, performances, and academic qualifications, hereby recommend as follows: that the Senate do confirm the nomination of all the underlisted as members of the Board of Directors for the Central Bank, as members of the Board of Directors of Central Bank. 1, Mr. Robert Agbede. 2, Mr. Ado Yakubu Wanka. 3, Professor Muritala Sabo Sagagi. 4, Mrs. Muslimat Olanike Aliyu, all as directors. However, in view of the non-appearance of Mr. Urom Kalu Eke for screening for confirmation for appointment as a member of the Board of Directors of the CBN, the committee cannot recommend him for appointment as a member of the Board of Directors of CBN. Conclusion. The committee wishes to sincerely express its appreciation to the Senate for the opportunity to serve in this capacity.
Thank you. Any comment? Senator Ojikalu. You can go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. In supporting my chairman, I'm also a member of the committee. And the Orum Kaleke is my cousin.
The Chief Whip Emeritus, you churn out this report. The report is your own. So what do you want to say about it again? It's your report. You put it together. So, okay.
Mr. Orum Kaleke is my constituent, and he made a call to me, and he told me that there's a conflict between the new job he's doing and what he's going to be. He told me that it will be a conflict between the job he's doing now and the central bank, sitting in the central bank, because he's a consultant to the World Bank, to some businesses, private and government. So he informed the governor of Central Bank that he might be declined not to do the job. So this is the reason it did not come. So I support the 4 candidates nominated by Mr. President because they are very credible people. They are people of high reputation, Nigerians, and the Central Bank needs them at this moment of our economy. So I support that the Senate should go ahead and confirm them without any wasting of time. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Chief Whip Emeritus, for giving us the reason why the gentleman did not turn up. So we are now abreast with the fact. Any other comment? The Leader of Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleagues. I rise to move that the Senate resolve to a committee of the whole to enable us to consider this report. I so move, Mr. President.
Those in favor of the motion, the Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I support the motion that the Senate do resolve into committee of the whole to consider the report. I so second.
In favor of the motion moved by the leader and supported by the Minority Leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. In the absence of any comment, We go straight to the approval. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Mr. Robert Agbede for appointment as a member of the Board of Directors of the Central Bank of Nigeria? Those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Mr. Ado Yakubu Wanka for appointment as a member of the Board of Directors of the Central Bank of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Professor Murtala Sabo Sagagi for appointment as a member of the Board of Directors of the Central Bank of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Mrs. Muslimat Olanike Aliyu for appointment as a member of the Board of Directors of the Central Bank of Nigeria? Those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve? Okay, sorry. The leader.
Thank you, Mr. President, sitting as chair. Distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the Senate revert to plenary to enable the chair report progress. I so move.
The minority leader.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, I second the motion ably moved by the leader of the Senate that the Senate reverts to plenary to enable the chair report progress. I so second.
Or the motion that should revert to the plenary as moved by the leader and seconded by the minority leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Report. The Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Banking, Insurance, and other financial institutions on the screen of Mr. President's nominees for appointment as Board of Directors for Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, and approved the following. 1. Mr. Robert Agbede, Director. Mr. Ado Yahu Wanka, Director. Professor Murtala Sabo Sagagi, Director. Mrs. Muslimat Aliyu, Director. As Board of Directors for Central Bank of Nigeria. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Confirmation. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Mr. Robert Agbede for appointment as member of the Board of Directors of the Central Bank of Nigeria? Those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate confirm the nomination as member, of Mr. Ado Yahu Wanka for appointment as a member of the Board of Directors of the Central Bank of Nigeria? Those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Mr. Professor Murtala Sagagi for appointment as member of the Board of Directors of Central Bank of Nigeria? Those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Professor Murtala Sabo Sagagi is hereby confirmed as a member of the Board of Directors of Central Bank of Nigeria. Also that of Mr. Robert Agbade and that of Ado Yakubu Wanka. Does the Senate confirm the nomination of Mrs. Muslimat Olanike Aliyu for appointment as a member of the Board of Directors of the Central Bank of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye, and those against say nay. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Mrs. Muslimat Olanike Aliyu is hereby confirmed as member of the Board of Directors of the Central Bank of Nigeria. In summary, the Senate has confirmed Mr. Robert Agbede for appointment as the Board of Directors of Central Bank of Nigeria, so also Ado Yakubu Wanka, so also Murtala Sabo Sagagi. Collectively, those in favor say aye, those against say nay, the ayes have it. That's already confirmed, to be sure everything is done properly. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the second order of the day is the second reading of the National Assembly Budget and Research Office Establishment Bill 2024, SB 345. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this chamber yesterday, Wednesday, 28 February 2024. In view of the fact that Mr. President presiding is the sponsor of the bill, I seek to take the lead debate on behalf of the sponsor of this bill. Mr. President, if I may so proceed.
Thank you, Leader. You can go ahead.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, permit me to lead the debate on a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the National Assembly Budget and Research Office, NABRO. The bill was read for the first time in this hallowed chamber on Wednesday, the 28th day of February 2024. The National Assembly Budget and Research Office is an initiative of the Nigerian legislature to support its work in its engagement with executive institutions on national budget. The objects of the office, among others, include to provide the National Assembly with objective, timely, and non-partisan analysis, information, and estimates needed for economic and budget decisions. To provide independent, unbiased, and non-partisan analysis of the executive arm of government's annual budget estimates. To provide independent and continuous review and monitoring of existing and proposed programs and budgets of the federal government. To provide analysis of the economic implication of the federal budget on the private sector and the budgetary and financial implication of any proposed legislation when so required by any committee of the National Assembly. Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, as it stands, there is no organic law that gives powers to any office to independently provide assistance to the National Assembly in relation to budgetary and financial matters. The National Assembly currently operates in a manner in which legislation is made and decisions are taken without relevant consideration of their financial and economic impacts. The only semblance of recognition of scrutiny and/or analysis of budget of the National Assembly or of the Federation is the Appropriation Committee of the National Assembly, consisting of members of the National Assembly, thereby depriving it of the quality of technical subject. The lack of an independent budgetary office specifically established to offer professional input to legislative budget process, therefore, leading to a lack of expertise and loss of the benefits that will be gained from the proper review and analysis of budgetary proposals. The proposed National Assembly Budget Office will report annually to the Senate and House of Representatives all items funded in the preceding financial year for which no appropriation was made by the National Assembly, and all items contained in the Appropriation Act in the preceding financial year, but which were not funded by the federal government. In line with our Order 76 of 3 of the Standing Rules of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 2023, the compendium of financial implications is hereby attached. It is in view of this and many more valid points that cannot be exhausted in this short debate that I urge you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, to please support this bill and recommend its accelerated passage. I thank you.
Thank you, Senate Leader. The Deputy Chairman of Appropriation Committee may wish to second. Thereafter, the Chairman will make contribution.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Mohammed Ali Dume, representing Borno South. Mr. President, in seconding this motion ably raised and led by the leader, I want to specifically inform my colleagues, the new colleagues, that this bill has been long overdue. We tried severally, and I think for technical reasons or so. And in fact, we even had a committee on this. I think it was in 2007 that we initiated having a National Assembly Budget and Research Office. As I said, this is overdue. And I would advise or suggest that we don't take a long time on it, since we are committing it to the committee, the appropriate committee, so that they will do a thorough job on it and get back. But I want to emphasize that for the efficacy of our job, we need this. I urge all our colleagues to support the second reading of this bill so that it should be committed to the appropriate committee and the appropriate legislative work is done to make sure we pass it. And I'm very sure the executive, the president in person, would want to have this, and that will hasten our budget process. Because whenever the budget comes and we are looking at it from background of knowledge, it will ease our job and make it faster. So I hereby second the second reading of the bill and also urge my colleagues to do so.
Thank you, Senator Solomon Adiola Olamileko, Chairman, Appropriation Committee. There will be the number one beneficiary. The Appropriation Committee will be the number one beneficiary of this committee when established.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleague, Adiola Solomon Olamileko, representing Ogun West Senatorial District in the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. President, let me start by commending you for this bold initiative of sponsoring this all-important bill for the National Assembly Budget and Research Office. Mr. President, I can vividly recollect during the 8th and the 9th Senate, one of our priorities as contained in the legislative agenda is to see to the establishment of this office. But for those 2 consecutive terms, we are unable to achieve this main objective of establishing this NABRU office. But this time around, the 10th Senate has taken the bull by the horn by leading the pack to ensure that for the first time, in accordance with global best practices, we have an independent budget office that will run concurrently with the budget office of the executive. Mr. President, this bill is not targeted at confronting or challenging the executive on their budget proposal or budget estimate, but it serves as an independent office that will give us a first-hand information about the budgetary document as that will be presented to us by the executive. It gives us the opportunity of monitoring the implementation of the annual budget estimate that will be submitted to the legislature. It also will assist us to monitor the economics of the document before us, that is the budgetary document that will be laid before the legislature. I give you an instance, Mr. President. As it currently were, we have a budget that was passed into law at 800 naira to $1. But as we speak, with the current rate of dollar at 1,450, that shows whatever we have done as budget, there is need for us to revisit as a result of the current realities. But an independent office like the NABRU office will have gone into consultation with the executive and see what is the next line of action. Will have equally advised the appropriation committee of the National Assembly of the next line of action. As it were, we are monitoring the turn of events, expecting the executive to come up with their proposal of what the next line of action will be in the line of current realities. But with a NABRU office that is efficient, that has been well established, it will guide our line of discussion as to how best we can address the present economic realities confronting us as a nation. So this is one step in the right direction, and as the Deputy Chair Appropriation have said, I know with all this benefit that is attached to this office, my very distinguished colleague will support this office to be established for the overall benefit of all lawmakers. Every year they bring budget before us, but some of our colleagues say, well, this has to do with financial and everything. But the NABRU office, we dissect, we break down line by line what is contained in that document and advise us accordingly. So this document is for the overall benefit of every senators and honorable members of the National Assembly. And I urge all my colleagues to go ahead. Let's give this bill an expeditious passage so that we can activate this office as soon as possible for the overall benefit of all members of the National Assembly. Once more, Mr. President, Deputy Senate President, I want to thank you very much for this bold initiative that you have taken. I so submit, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Solomon Adiola, for your eloquent contribution. I call on the former Senate President, Senator Amelon, to make his contribution.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Ahmed Lawan, I represent Yobe North. Mr. President, as one of the 1999 House of Reps members, you will recall that the then House, the first session of the House of Representatives, 1999-2003, had this bill. And in fact, I recall that Habib Fashero, honored member from Lagos State then, was chairman of the committee, a special committee of NABRO. This bill has been around in the Senate now for over 20 years. Distinguished colleagues, it is an evolutionary trip of the National Assembly, the legislature here at this level, that we are witnessing. And this year, this session, the 10th Senate should take every possible opportunity to get this bill passed and, of course, get Mr. President to assent to it. Like the previous speakers have said, this is one law when it comes back to us as a law signed by Mr. President that will enable the National Assembly, the legislature at the highest level in this country, to really answer the name a National Assembly that is empowered. Because there is more power in terms of approvals for expenditures in the National Assembly than probably any other power. The power or the purse. And if we have that power, we must use it properly and appropriately. How do we do that? We must base our decisions to approve financial requests or on issues of economy from position of knowledge, understanding, and enlightenment. And NABRO is that outfit, that institution that will give us that cutting edge power that we need. So I will appeal to all of us that we support the second reading of this bill. In fact, the House never had any problem with this bill. Because right now, it appears like the House is the one that is championing the push for this institution. But it's supposed to be a National Assembly thing. And I believe that this 10th Senate will pass this bill, will get this bill assented to by Mr. President, having been in the National Assembly himself once, so that the National Assembly now can have the NABRO office fully kitted, fully tooled, fully supported by the National Assembly itself, with experts, with skillful people who will, on the press of the button, will tell us this is what we are supposed to do when it comes to budgeting. This is what we are supposed to stand for and support when it comes to economy, because these will be professionals who will always be there to guide us. So with these remarks, Mr. President, thank you very much for the privilege.
Thank you very much, Senator Dixon. Well, I think we should give Dixon, then Tony Nwoye, then Kao Sumela, because these are people, these are senators that know about the history of this bill. It has been here for quite a long time. So Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my dear colleagues, Henry Serake Dixon, Bayelsa West. Mr. President, I rise to lend support that this bill be read a second time. And in doing so, I align with all the reasons, sentiments, and arguments already advanced by my colleagues. This bill is to strengthen the capacity of the National Assembly to undertake its very serious and sometimes overarching responsibilities and powers under the Constitution. Yes, we have 3 arms of government solidified in our Constitution, but if you look carefully, the power of appropriation, the power to direct economic policy and back it up with approvals, and therefore the power to push development is vested in the National Assembly. And that is called the power of the purse most times. And in doing so, like has been already said, the National Assembly, in exercising that onerous power, needs to do so from a position of strength, a position of knowledge. I commend you for again bringing up this matter. Those of us I was part of the 6th and 7th National Assembly, and I know that we were all involved in some aspects of this bill, but it's unfortunate that it has taken this bill this long period to get to where we are. I want to thank you for again drawing our attention to the necessity for strengthening the legislature to do its job. And I urge that we all give support to it. In doing so, I know most of the fine-tuning work will be done at the public hearing before we proceed. But let me say that this bill has to be independent, to make this body independent. As independent, to be in a position to take decisions that may not even go down well with any other person. So either we change the name to include its independence, or in reworking the bill, we reflect that independence of the work they will do in the body of the bill. And I know that those committees that will do the fine-tuning know what to do. This body, when established, should also make provision for top economists and experts in budget to also function in one way or the other. Whether we are going to set up a board or whatever. If it is there, we should strengthen it. If it is not there, we should add to it. So that this body, once operational, will be in a position to assess, even before we receive estimates from a president. It should give us an analysis of what has gone before in the previous years, an analysis of performance also, and for me, an analysis of even the fair spread of federal projects. Because we must institutionalize a mechanism for ensuring equity, not just in words, but in practice. Because we, the representatives of the people, need to know, year in, year out, what is coming to Bayelsa. We need to know. And the work that this board will do should not only be accessible to us. I believe if we study what is happening in other, like the Congressional Budget Office and so on, which I'm sure the committees will benchmark this body with, the members of the public, even Nigerians, students, professors, need to also have access to the work that they will do, so that everybody will be in an informed position to assess the budget and the capacity.
Thank you, Sir Dixie. I'm reluctant to tell you your time is up as a ranking senator, but please, you have 1 second remaining. Senator Tony, look, you see, this bill is very straightforward, but I understand that ranking senators here want to contribute. You know, they're showing enthusiasm because they know you know, you speak. Everybody will speak. I just want to say that we restrain the timing. You are going to speak. You are going to speak. What I'm trying to say is this: it's a very straightforward bill, but probably because in line with because of the enthusiasm, and they remember the bill with nostalgia, so they want to speak about it. So let's restrict ourselves to one minute, so that everybody can speak. Everyone can speak here. I'm not saying only them. No, everybody will speak, right? Senator Abbas, I understand that. Senator Abi Mustafa, you speak, no problem. So, Senator Tony, you have 1 minute. You raise your hand first. Then Senator Kawu, then Senator Mustafa. Then we'll move to this side.
Thank you, my president, distinguished colleagues. My name is Dr. Tony Nwoye. My own will be very brief. The most important aspect of this bill, that this bill will be highly unbiased, highly non-partisan, and highly independent. Most importantly also, this bill will seek for us to bring experts, technical experts, who will be saddled with the responsibility of reviewing the proposal of federal government, monitoring implementation of the budget passed, and also this bill will seek to end the area of duplication of projects in our budget. I hereby support this bill wholeheartedly, and God bless you.
Thank you, Senator Tony Nwoye, for restricting yourself to that 1 minute in the time given. Senator Councilman, I hope you do the same.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't have much to add because of the time constraint, but Mr. President, I think this bill is very, very important, and I commend you of bringing this kind of legislation which will add value on what we are doing. I have my observation based on the aggregate opinion of the previous speakers is that the main advantage we will derive from this bill or legislation is objective analysis. It will help us in analyzing the budget objectively. Key data information, we will have information on what happened or what is going to happen in the past and previous budget, and the expertise and specialization. Having this office, it will employ an expert opinion on how to implement the budget, efficiency and timely analysis, long-term planning. It will help us in policy sustainability, and at the end, if we have this kind of legislation, we will have equal distribution of resources or allocation to our various constituencies and senatorial district, and we will run from selective implementation from the executive. And level of implementation, it is easy for us to understand the level of implementation of the budget. Then finally, it will help us in our oversight function, which is the main constitutional responsibility of legislators in Nigeria. I think it is overdue.
Thank you. The time is off. We are taking 3 here, then we come back to take Senator Abbas, Mustafa, and Senator Ismaila. So we start with Senator Adam Oshomole from other. We'll take 3 there and then 3 here.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have huge difficulties contributing because I can see the sponsor of the bill, but I hope that I will not be misunderstood. I think, sir, at this point, the Nigerian people are unanimous, whether we agree with them or we don't, that the budget of the National Assembly is too heavy. You might agree with it, you don't agree with it, but politics is about perception. Just this week, Mr. President, the the president of Nigeria, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, decided to scale down this order on the basis of, collapse some agencies in order to reduce the cost of governance. Why the executive is doing that, regardless of what anybody will say, for us to rise from these chambers to say that we have created another new institution, I think on the face of it, we will be seen as expanding where the executive is reducing. Number two, I believe in research. There is no question. But in reality, in this environment, I do not see that independent.
Point of order, Senator Mohammed Tahir Mongono. There's a point of order. Order 24, you may read.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohammed Tahir Mongono. I represent Marte Mongono. Sorry, I forgot to mention my former federal constituency. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. My point of order is based on Order 52.4. Subject to your permission, I will read the order.
Go ahead, go ahead.
The order said a senator must confine his observation to the subjects under discussion and may not introduce matter irrelevant thereto. Mr. President, I submit with all due respect to my former national chairman, distinguished Senator Adam Oshumole, that the issue he wants to introduce is completely irrelevant and extraneous to this debate. He is talking about the budget of the National Assembly, while we are talking about getting experts, establish a body of experts, an agency to scrutinize the national budget and then guide the National Assembly as a whole, and then streamline the process. We are not talking about the budget of the National Assembly specifically. So it should be ruled out.
Senator Tahir Mohammed Mongono, your point of order is highly sustained. So please, you may wish to tailor your debate on the subject matter on that debate.
Thank you, Mr. President. I hold the view, Mr. President, that our National Assembly Senate Appropriation Committee can decide, depending on the nature of the issues, to hire any expert which, in his opinion, will be able to help in reviewing the budget of the National Assembly, of the executive with regard to annual budgeting. Because in truth, sir,
Sir, you have 1 second remaining. We have 1 minute allotted to each senator. Sir.
Oh.
You know, you are my former chairman. I don't want to be seen to be partial. If I allow you more time, I will begin to, become, partial. So please, you just have 1 second remaining. I'm sorry, sir.
As Mr. President pleases. Thank you.
Senator Mohammed Mongono.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the indulgence. My name is Mohammed Tahir Mongono. I represent Marte Mongono, Borno North Senatorial District. I don't know. Borno North Senatorial District. Mr. President, I think this is one of the bills that has suffered a very protracted and checkered history of adjournments throughout my stay in the National Assembly. I can recall vividly that this bill has been rearing its head in our order paper since the 6th National Assembly, and it has not seen the light of the day. It is akin, similar to the petroleum industry bill, that the National Assembly in the 9th Senate took the bull by the horn and then passed it finally. I think this bill also, having regard to the protracted and checkered history that it has suffered in the National Assembly, the 10th National Assembly will take the bull by the horn and pass this bill for assent, possible assent by Mr. President, especially against the backdrop of the fact that it is in tandem with international best practice, as rightly mentioned by Senator Sarake Dixon, that is the Congressional Budget Office in the U.S. Congress, which we borrowed from. So in view of that, I adopt all...
Thank you. Senator Abiru.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. I also rise to give my support to this high impactful bill. My support, just like my other colleagues have said, will derive from the fact that, for an institution like this is how you enrich the capacity of institutions. I must confess, Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, the budget cycles that I see often in these chambers is almost a struggle, even with my understanding of basic economics and all of that. Now, I believe strongly an institution of this nature will help almost all of us here with the powers of appropriation that we have in understanding the basics of budgeting and also monitoring, because on a yearly basis, what we see within a short period is they bring the MTF here and we begin to struggle to put a budget together. I believe strongly with the establishment of an institution like this, we'll be better informed, better enriched, and we understand not only the budget process, even the process of monitoring the budget, which is very important. So I fully support this proposal, and I will enjoin my other colleagues to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take Senator Abbas, then to Senator Mustafa Habib, and then Senator Ismaila. Then we come down, I will round up with Senator Tatuzam, and then two others from there, so that we close the debate. So, 1 minute, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Aminu Abbas, Senator representing Adamawa Central Senator District. Mr. President, in support to this bill, I want to call on distinguished senators to note that in the state assemblies over the years, we were informed that this office established with legal backing. It's my surprise to hear that there is no legal backing to this office. And we are encouraging the state assemblies to open the same kind of office when I was there, all over the country. Just for me to come out here today that there is no legal backing for this office while we were asked to open each and every assembly in the state, I want to call on all of us to support this bill so that people will not even know, former colleagues will not know that we don't have this legal backing for this office in National Assembly. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Senator Mustafa Habib.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Mustafa Habib, representing Jigawa Southwest. First, I also want to congratulate you for bringing up this bill, because this is an institution that will make our work not only easy, but more potent. Mr. President, since my visit to Congressional Budget Office, I became ecstatic about this bill, and I'm happy that today we are on the right track to achieve this goal. It will make the work of each and every one of us easier, because we don't have to go out on oversights. We have experts in the office, in this office, that will do the field work where we don't even have the expertise. We have engineers, accountants, economists. They are supposed to be manning this office, and they provide us with instant information on anything about the budget we are supervising. It will make us more efficient, more relevant, and more punching in our work. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Mustafa Habib. Very eloquent contribution. So, Ismaila.
Mr. President, my name is Senator Dr. Samaila Dahua Kachala, I represent Bauchi North. Mr. President, first of all, let me congratulate you for bringing this bill. But my own is a kind of bewilderment. I'm surprised. Despite all the eloquent presentations and almost everybody is supporting, I would like, for the benefit of we, the undergraduate senators, to tell us why is this budget was not passed in the 8th Assembly, 7th Assembly, 9th Assembly, up to today. Because even the former Senate President eloquently explained why we should support this bill. Why was it not supported, or why was it not passed in all this assembly? Is there any reason why it was not passed? And I think the older senators should explain to us why they failed to pass this bill, despite the fact that it is a very good bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Senator Titus Zam, PhD.
Don't worry. The Senate President, my dear distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Dr. Titus Zam. I represent Benue Northwest Senatorial District. Mr. Senate President, Senator Musawa has asked me to remind you that we, the first-time senators, were 80 in number out of 109, 84 in number. And then this sentiment about new senators and ranking senators is not, with due respect to our senior colleagues, is not good politics. We are, even if we were not in the Senate, we were serving this country somewhere else. So it's just to be noted that we are all senators, whether new or old.
Let me correct one thing. Excuse me. Why I refer to that was the fact that this bill has been around for quite a long time. So we have the institutional memory of the bill. So we wanted them to say it out so that others will hear. Mind you, you are no longer a non-ranking. You are a ranking senator now. You are here for. So those that are coming, even though we don't want some others to come, we want you to continue. Anybody that comes in will now be a non-ranking. You are a ranking senator now. So what we mean by that has been withdrawn. What we are trying to say is that someone like Senator Habib, Senator, all of them, they have the memory. They knew what happened about the bill. You saw how the former Senate President gave an account of how the whole thing emanated. So the reason was that let them speak so that we can hear why the bill or how the bill has been, that the bill has been here for a quite long time. It was not done to say this is ranking or no. You are ranking already. So you can, you have every privilege attached to a ranking senator. It's someone that will come later that will not be, that will be a non-ranking. You are ranking already. You are past that. See, you are a chairman of a very, very important committee. So don't regard, you are part of leadership.
That is very, very patronizing. On that note, having listened to the tide of the debate and the sentiments expressed in favor of this bill, it is very difficult for me to toe the line I intended to toe. I would rather adopt the comments made by the senator that requested for information as to why such an impactful, to use somebody's words, such an important bill or motion has not seen the light of day, in spite of the accolades that this bill has enjoyed this morning. So we, the first timers, want to know if this bill was so important, why did it not pass through all this year? Thank you very much, sir.
You are not only a ranking, you are part of leadership. Your committee is so important that you deal with leadership every day. So you are even beyond ranking.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Asuko Ekwenyong, Senator representing Cross River South. So as not to belay or to take too much time. I stand on the same question he asked and the immediate previous speaker asked. Why was this bill not passed in the 9th Assembly? Yes. Please guide us. Thank you very much. Or assented to. Thank you.
Senator Williams Etam, former Speaker, Cross River House of Assembly.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, thank you, Senator.
Thank you for this bill. I've gone through it. I've done my research. A good bill. And I also discovered that we are losing a lot sponsorship from a lot of bodies, even international bodies, for not passing this bill. I'll call on my colleagues. I will be precise that we are losing over $2 million every year not passing this bill since '99. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contributions. Order, please. You see, Senator now refuses to contribute because he knows about the bill very well. He knows about the bill because he was a former member of House of Representatives. Well, let me particularly thank everyone that contributed. Senator Lamilekon gave an account of the bill, and also the former Senate President fully gave an account, stated how the bill came about. I remember in the year 1999, there was a delegation from the National Assembly here, both Senate and the House, to the United States Congress, sponsored by NDI of US. Where there, it was then we were shown the Congressional Budget Office of the United States. And that office is a kind of a reservoir of the entire statistics, economic statistics of United States. It gives all data you need about the entire economy of the United States, not even United States, but the world. They could there press a button, they could be there. If you go to that office right now in the US, they will press a button if they want to know anything. If you want to know anything about Nigeria, they will tell you about the economy of Nigeria. They will tell you about the economy of Namibia. And they always give the Congress of the United States any information, every information they need. Not only the Appropriation Committee or the Finance Committee, but all the committees. You could go there and get information. And as we speak, whatever information we get from the executive arm of government. So what they tell us is what we use as a source of information. But when we have this office, we also have our own information, our reservoir information that can be used to check whatever is given to us by anybody, by any MDA. No ministry will come and tell you this is happening or that is happening. You check against your own data. So that will help the country, you know. And every member of the National Assembly can go in there and have whatever anybody wants in terms of data, in terms of statistics, in terms of information, or anybody. So it is a very important office, and we need to put that in place here in order to go with international best practice. In fact, it's one of the pillars of the legislature. A legislature without adequate information will not be able to perform its function properly. And the previous administration that refused to sign, they felt we are going to kind of compete with them. You know, there's this kind of sense of insecurity that we are going to know too much. And the democracy, you should know. The legislature should know. So, and I think we are really happy that the current president was also a product of the National Assembly. He knows about the National Assembly. He was in the United States. He knows the workings of the United States Congress. He knows about this aspect of international best practice. So we are hopeful he is going to sign whenever the bill is presented to him. He's a very, very innovative person, very forward-looking person. He knows about the legislature. So that was the reason I want to tell others that didn't know or don't know why the bill was not signed in the first place. This is the reason. They felt, just like the zone intervention we're enjoying now, they didn't want to go by it. In fact, there was argument from the beginning that the National Assembly did not have the powers to add or subtract from the budget. But then our democracy was new. But now everybody knows that knows that the power of the purse belongs to the National Assembly, as said by Senator Dixon, which is correct. So it's something that will help the workings of the National Assembly. And I thank all of you for your contribution, and we shall all work together to get this law passed, this bill passed. Thank you very much. Okay, now, yeah, institutional memory. Now I go to the question. So those in favor that this bill be read the second time, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the National Assembly Budget and Research Office, which provides the National Assembly with objective, timely, and non-partisan analysis needed for economic and budget decisions and for related matters 2024. Second reading.
A bill for an act to establish the National Assembly Budget and Research Office, which provides the National Assembly with objective, timely, and non-partisan analysis needed for economic and budget decisions and for related matters 2024. Second reading. The bill is the bill is referred to the Committee on Appropriations to report back within 4 weeks. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the third order of the day is the second reading of the Federal University of Technology, Ilaro Establishment Bill 2024, SB 345. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this chamber on Thursday, 15th February 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite most distinguished Senator Adeola Solomon Olamilekan to move the motion for the bill to be read a second time.
Solomon Adeola Olamilekan, you may wish to move for the second reading of your bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Adeola Solomon Olamilekan, representing Ogun West Senatorial District in the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. President, this is the lead debate on a bill for the establishment of the Federal University of Technology, Ilaro, 2024 SB 345, sponsored by my very humble self. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, permit me to lead the debate on this important bill for the establishment of the Federal University of Technology, Ilaro, through the upgrade of an existing tertiary institution, namely the Federal Polytechnic, Ilaro, Ogun State. The bill was presented for first reading on Thursday, 15th February 2024. Let me record for distinguished colleague that I presented this bill in the 8th Senate, in the 9th Senate, and it was read for the first time in the Alu chambers on Thursday, the 6th April 2017. Following the commencement of the 9th Senate, I once again presented the bill, and it was read for the first time on the 15th October 2019, and it is subsequently went through the second reading, and after a well-attended public hearing, the bill was passed by the 9th Senate and sent to the House of Representatives for concurrence. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, this bill seeks to upgrade the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro to Federal University of Technology Ilaro and make a comprehensive provision for the management and administration. The bill, having been passed by the Senate, I urge my colleague and distant Senate to give it an urgent consideration and a speedy approval. Once again, distinguished colleague, let me state that the imperative for this establishment of this technology university is informed mostly by the expansion and development of the Polytechnic that was established in 1979 some 38 years ago, as can be glimpsed from the attached profile of the institution, as well as the ample latitude for the massive expansion in terms of space. The institution, being a polytechnic, has many infrastructural facilities which many state-owned university and privately owned university cannot boast of. Ironically, those states and the newly established federal university have today been granted National University Commission accreditation and are running courses as full-fledged university. The objective of the university: to encourage the advancement of learning and to hold out to all persons without distinction of race, creed, sex, or political conviction. B, to establish and offer academic and professional programs leading to the award of certificate, first degree, postgraduate research, diploma, and higher degree with emphasis on planning, developmental and adaptive skill in technology, applied science, and allied professional discipline. C, to provide a mature technologist of higher cadre with capacity not only to understand the technological need of Nigeria as a nation, but to exploit the existing technological infrastructure and improve on it to develop new ones. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, let me say that in our ongoing developmental drive, our economy requires a requisite high level of technical, scientific, and technological skill for its effective operation. It is also worthy to note that the establishment of the university will go a long way in providing human resources to the major industry center of Nigeria, namely the Agbara Ota Industrial Estate and Ikeja Infrastructural Estate, as well as the Bogoyin Lekki Industrial Complex in the offering. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, as we currently stand, Ogun State is the most industrialized state in the entire Southwest. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, the establishment of this university in Ogun State will also go a long way in balancing the spread of educational infrastructure in the state and other parts of the nation. Among the three senatorial districts of Ogun State, the senatorial district where this proposed university is sited is the only one without a federal government-owned university, with the two others. However, it is noteworthy that none of these universities located in this state are technological-based universities. In order, Mr. President, distinguished colleague, in addition to the advancement of learning and technology in technological field, encouragement of innovation, entrepreneurship, and application of technology, the bill seeks to ameliorate the imbalance in educational infrastructure and its attendant relegation to a section of the country in acquisition of education and benefit thereof. I have no doubt that the enactment of this bill will help in transforming the technology education fortune of Nigeria through an upgrade of this developed institution of Federal Polytechnic Ilaro. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, in line with Order 77 subsection 3, the compendium of financial implication of the bill, implication of passage of the bill is hereby attached. I urge you all to support the bill for second reading and eventual accelerated passage. Thank you. Mr. President.
Sorry.
Attached to my submission is the compendium of the Federal University of Technology Ilaro Establishment ETC Bill 2024, and the above reflect a slight increment in 2024 budgetary allocation for the existing Polytechnic Ilaro as contained in the Appropriation Act. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, I so submit.
Thank you, Senator Mohammed Alindemi. Then Senator Sani Musa.
Thank you, Mr. President. Once again, I'm Senator Mohammed Alindumi, representing Borno South. Mr. President, this bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Technology, Ilaro, is very straightforward and is not strange and is in line with even the government's intentions as to merging technological institutions with academic ones to produce the best of result. As the sponsor of the bill said, Federal Polytechnic Ilaro was established in 1979 I happened to serve in Federal Polytechnic, Ilaro, in 1983. I did my NYC in Ilaro. I know the institution very well. Mr. President, this is the time to really convert that institution into University of Technology. In fact, the government is not going to do much because the institution is there already. From 1979 to today, you are talking about over a long period. So it's just like making adjustments to provide for the institution to do more in terms of what we can technologically benefit. And as the sponsor of the bill said, Ilaro is an area in Ogun State where it's very industrial, and it's the time to provide the necessary technological support and research facility in that area. I would only suggest and appeal to my colleagues that since we have some other items on the order paper, and this has to go, so Mr. President, I want to appeal to you to only ask the clerk to read for the second reading. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Senator Sani Musa. Then we have one person from the other side, Senator Reverend Johanna, and then we'll put that to question.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Mohammed Sani Musa, representing Niger East Senatorial District. My distinguished colleagues, I think this bill should be supported. The reason is that the whole world is turning technology now. It's AI, it's robotics, and these are things that are being taught even at primary school level in some countries today. So having a university of technology, I think it's something that this country, not only the Ilaro people or the Ogun State people that needs that, but Nigerians. And again, if you look at just Istanbul, just the city of Istanbul, you look at the number of universities they have, is more than the whole universities we have in Nigeria. Looking at our population and everything. So having more universities today, either private or national universities, I think they are all desirable. And I believe my colleagues will see reason with this bill and give this bill the ultimate support to pass through. But yet, after creating these universities, now that the chairman of appropriation is the one that is bringing this bill, I hope that the chairman will make appropriate allocation to these universities so that they can function very well. Thank you, Mr. President.
The Senate should do that, not the chairman. Okay. Yes. Senator Johanna, then Senator Nkombo. You write it up. You end up the debate for us. You finish.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Amos Johanna. I represent Adamawa North. I stand to support the second reading of this bill. Across this country, we have received goods, both agricultural and manufactured items from industries. And when you read through them, you see the name of Ogun on them, which shows that Ogun State is highly entrepreneurial and is also very productive. So to provide the people living in that area with this type of university is actually to provide Nigeria with a high-class university to help in our technological development and production. Secondly, since it is an upgrade actually of a facility, it will cost the federal government not much more than just increasing their budget a little bit, and the infrastructure is on ground, and so it is much easier to have this type of university come up from an existing facility. For these two reasons, Mr. President, I stand to support this bill for second reading. Thank you.
Yeah, now come round up, then we put the question, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also rise to support that the institution is an institution that I have done research in, being a chancellor of Bells University, and that it's an institution that is well established. As a promoter of this kind of drive now, when I was a governor too, I felt what we need is not the regular universities. We need technological and science universities so that we will promote the objective of what we are promoting today. So in order not to waste your time, Mr. President, it's a sustainable project. It should be supported by our colleagues, and I support this bill, sir.
Okay, to this end, let me put the question. Those in favor of that this bill be now read the second time, please say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Technology, Ilaro, Ogun State, and for other matters connected therewith, 2024. Second reading.
A bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Technology, Ilaro, Ogun State, and for other matters connected therewith, 2024. Second reading. Let me thank all. The bill is referred to the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund and to report back within 2 weeks. Let me commend all those who made contributions to the debate on this bill, and also commend the sponsor of the bill, because we know that education is the bedrock of every society, and technical education is key to economic prosperity and entire development of any nation. So this bill is well intended, and it's good to get it passed as soon as possible so that the President will give his assent to it. Ilaro in Ogun State is situated very close to the industrial base of the Lagos-Ogun axis. The personnel that will be churned out from this institution will help to man the various industries that are available within that area. It's therefore commended that this bill is coming at this time for our national history. The Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleagues. The fourth order of the day is the second reading of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation NDIC Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 277. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this chamber on Wednesday, 22nd November 2023. Mr. President, you may wish to invite most distinguished Senator Adetokunbo Abiru Mukail to move the motion for the bill to be read a second time.
Senator Adetokunbo Abiru.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Mukahil Adetokunbo Abiru, and I represent Lagos East Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise to move the lead debate on a bill for an act to amend the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation Act number 63 of 2023 to make the corporation more effective, ensure its independence and autonomy in line with Section 1, subsection 3 of the Principal Act, and to bring it in line with current realities and best practices and for other related matters. This bill is sponsored by my good self and, of course, the 41 other members of the committee. Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, it is therefore my pleasure and delight to lead the debate on the general principles on a bill for an act to amend the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation Act number 63 of 2023. This bill, like I said, is co-sponsored by all the members of the Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance, and Other Financial Institutions, and was read for the first time in this hallowed chamber on Wednesday, 22nd of November, 2023. The bill basically seeks to amend the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation Act number 63 of 2023 and to make the corporation more effective, safeguard its independence and autonomy, and to bring it in line with current realities and best practices. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the Nigerian Deposit Insurance was set up for the purpose of the protection of depositors and to guarantee the settlement of insured deposits when a deposit-taking financial institution can no longer repay their deposits, thereby helping to maintain financial system stability. Though the 2023 Act made substantial improvements to the 2006 Act, its implementation has been fraught with continuous debates, and there have been series of appeals from and consensus among stakeholders on the need for an amendment of the Act to address all the issues that have been raised concerning the bill. So therefore, the objectives of this bill, therefore, and the amendments being proposed in this bill include, but are not limited to, the following. 1, to lay to rest once and for all the claims that the document / the bill that was assented to by the former president is materially different from what was passed by the 9th National Assembly. 2, Section 1, subsection 3 of the Act provides that the corporation shall be independent in the performance of its functions. Nearly all of its important and exclusive duties, including its functions and powers, are to be exercised subject to the concurrence of the Central Bank of Nigeria. So this bill, therefore, provides, the provisions of this bill now make the Act self-contradictory, and this bill is therefore to amend the Principal Act in order to guarantee NDIC's independence in performing its statutory functions. The third point there is that the Principal Act also curiously restricts the powers of Mr. President to appoint the managing director and the executive directors that are to be of persons recommended by the central bank governor. So this bill, therefore, seeks to amend this provision in order to bring it in line with and in consonance with Mr. President's power of appointment as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Note 4 on page 2, the Act, the 2023 Act also terminated geopolitical representation on the board of the corporation, but this bill seeks to reintroduce geopolitical representation. And the importance of the duties and functions of the corporation needs a lot of needs inclusivity, taking into cognizance the diversity of the nation that requires geopolitical representation. Equally, the provisions of the Principal Act, which makes the permanent secretary, Ministry of Finance, the chairman of the board, is also being reviewed. This is because the workload and busy schedule of that office is such that makes such an appointment untenable. On page 3, note 6, in the same vein, the reasoning for the inclusion of the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission being a member of the board and the interim management committee is also being addressed. This is because the SEC is the regulator of the capital market and has nothing to do with deposit insurance. And lastly, the importance of the need for the Minister of Finance to constitute an interim management committee for the corporation within 30 days after the expiration or termination of the tenure of the board is also being introduced. And this is to forestall a recurrence of the recent situation where the corporation is faced with challenges in its operations as a result of the absence of the board. Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, the bill, if passed into law, will correct the anomalies that have been highlighted above, strengthen the corporation, and make it more effective and safeguard its independence. Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, this bill has no financial implication and no compendium is attached as required by Order 76, subsection 3 of the Senate Standing Orders. I therefore indulge my members and colleagues to please support this bill. I so submit, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues.
This bill is so straightforward. Maybe we'll have one contribution and then we just move aside. I just second it so that I can move ahead. It's very straightforward.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. My name is Mohammed Sani Musa, Niger East Senatorial District. I think this bill, as Mr. President has said, is a straightforward bill. And the essence of it, if I should add, is just for the functionality of NDIC, and also for NDIC to have some kind of independence, especially...
Point of order, Senator Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise pursuant to Order 8/3 to move that our time be extended to enable us to sit beyond 2 p.m. to finish the proceedings for the day, as contained on the order paper. I so move, Mr. President.
The Leader of Senate. The Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I rise to second the motion moved by the Senate Leader that we do extend our time beyond 2 p.m. to enable us to complete the assignment on the order paper. I so second.
Those in favor for the extension, in favor of the motion for the extension of time, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Continue.
Your Excellency. So for the functionality of NDIC, and also when it comes to the appointment of appointments, I think it's only fair to give Mr. President all that power to appoint instead of taking it from CBN, because CBN, one way or the other, if there is any issue with any commercial bank or any deposit bank that has an issue, Central Bank is also there. So I think it's better for Mr. President to use his powers to appoint. Thank you, Mr. President.
I think with that much ado, run it up, just run it up. No, just. Senator Lalong, we had intended not to, because it's very straightforward, but you've been raising your hand behind. Probably you have one or two things that we've seen that we didn't see. So please, you can ventilate that.
Distinguished Senators, Samuel Lalong, representing Plateau South. I rise to also support that this bill be given accelerated adoption, approval, because in the last 2 or 4 years, we had problems, and these problems were part of these anomalies. Now I have seen an effort to correct some of these anomalies, and that will go a long way in strengthening the effectiveness and efficacy of that institution. The last one, to give the president the right to decide who mans this place, because there has been petitions here and there on when people are appointed to this position. So the right of the president to appoint is very, very normal at this time, and I therefore will not waste time to also support that this bill be given accelerated approval.
Thank you, distinguished senators, for your contributions, and also commend Senator Aditoko Abiru for sponsoring this bill, because as said by several speakers, the bill will further strengthen these entities in order to be put in the best position to perform its statutory functions. To this effect, let me put forward the question. Those in favor that this bill be now read a second time, please say aye. Those again say nay. The ayes have it. The Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation NDIC Act number 63, 2003, to make the corporation more effective, ensure its independence and autonomy, and to bring it in line with current realities and for other related matters 2024. Second reading.
A bill for an act to amend the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation NDIC Act number 63, 2003 to make the corporation more effective, ensure its independence and autonomy, and to bring it in line with current realities and for other related matters connected therewith to 2024. Second reading taken. The Leader of the Senate. Okay, the Committee on Banking, Insurance, and other financial institutions should take care of the processing of the bill. This bill is referred to the committee to report back in 2 weeks. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the fifth order of the day is a House bill for concurrence as listed on the other paper. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I refer to a bill for an act to make provisions for the retirement age of staff of National Assembly Service and for other related matters 2024, HB 529. Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, consistent with the decision taken at the last session of this hallowed chamber, when the bill was stood down for further legislative and wide consultations, I stand to inform that this had been done. Proper and more extensive definition had been made, as will be discovered when we get to do the clause-by-clause consideration of this bill. Special regards has also been paid to global best practices, including the definition of who a legislative officer is, as contained in civilized and more advanced democracies, especially of the United States of America and the United Kingdom, who also have adopted the same standard we are trying to adopt as to the need to establish and strengthen institutional memories by ensuring a certain retirement age threshold for legislative officers. And all of this having been said, and considering the fact that I had done a lead debate in this regard before, Mr. President and dear colleagues, I stand to most respectfully move that the bill be now read a second time so that we'll be able to go into the next level, which will be the clause-by-clause consideration.
Before I put the question, let me inform the Senate that as you said, all have been done and there have been talks with the House of Representatives, and all the issues that were of concern have been cleared, and everything is okay with the bill. So I therefore put the question: those in favor that we move to the committee of whole to, that we need the bill to second, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk will send it.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to make provisions for the retirement age of staff of National Assembly Service and for other related matters 2024, second reading.
A bill for an act to make provisions for the retirement age of staff of the National Assembly Service and for other related matters 2024, second reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, pursuant to Order 78, Sub 3 of our rules, I move that the bill be now referred to the Committee of the Whole for consideration. I so move.
The Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I support that this bill be referred to the Committee of the Whole for further legislative action.
Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the long title be approved say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 1. Those in favor that clause 1, 2, and 3. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 4 and 5. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Explanatory memorandum. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Leader of Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President, sitting as chair. I stand to move that the Senate revert to plenary to enable the chairman report progress. I so move.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, I second the motion that the Senate reverse to plenary for the chair to report progress. I so second.
Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate and the Committee of the Whole consider the harmonized retirement age of staff of National Assembly, Service, and other related matters Bill 2024 and approve as follows. Long title as recommended. Number of clauses. Clauses 1 to 3 as recommended. Clause 4 as recommended. Clause 5 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you very much, distinguished senators. This bill has been able to address the issue of trying to entrench competence and institutional memory in the National Assembly service in terms of the entire bureaucracy and staff in line with international best practice. We did the same for the judiciary because it is an establishment that is based on competence and good understanding of the process of what is always done in the judiciary. So also applies to the legislature. If you remember, before the Fourth Republic, there have been several interventions by the military in the affair of governance in this country. Each time the military intervened at that time, the judiciary was always around, the executive was always around. What was always disbanded was the legislature. So the legislature was not really lucky to be well rooted like the other arms of government, the staff as well. So we need more experience to be gathered by our staff in order to allow them to function properly. So this bill has really addressed that. Yeah, it has addressed it, and we thank you very much. We commend you for the quick passage of the bill. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, I stand to move that the bill be now read the third time. I so move.
Honorable Senate. Oh, sorry, Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that the bill be read a third time. I still second.
Sorry, Madam Leader, your position is highly recognized and well respected. So the clerk will say that.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to make provisions for the retirement age of staff of National Assembly Service and for other related matters 2024, third reading.
A bill for an act to make provisions for the retirement age of staff of National Assembly Service and for other related matters 2024, third reading, taken and passed. The Leader. Leader, let me emphasize, now we can be sure that our best mind in the legislature will retain to work for us. So please, the staff of the National Assembly, this should propel you to do more, to work more. We want your expertise, we want your experience. We thank you very much. Leader. Okay, the conference committee. Yes, we have a list here because certainly, as you know, there are some differences between the version that was passed by the House and the one that was that has just been passed by the Senate. And so there's a need for a conference committee. And the conference committee memberships as follows. The Senate leader is the chairman, Senator Zam, a member, Senator Ifan Yuba, a member, Senator Asuku Ekwenyo, a member, Senator Adam Malero, a member, and Senator Reverend Amos Yohana, also a member. The leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the sixth and last order of the day is a motion standing in the name of distinguished Senator Emmanuel Udende Menga on the need for the Police Service Commission and the Nigerian Police Force to adhere to the character principle in the recruitment of constables in the Nigerian Police Force. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Emmanuel Udende Menga to move the motion.
Senator Dende, you may wish to move your motion.
Mr. President, my dear colleagues, my name is Emmanuel Memga Udende. I represent Benue Northeast Senatorial District. I'm from Benue. My motion is on the need for the Police Service Commission and the Nigerian Police Force to adhere to federal character principle in the recruitment of constables into the Nigerian police. The Senate, aware that the federal government under the leadership of the then President Muhammad Buhari, as part of federal government strategy to promote community policing, ordered the recruitment of 10,000 constables annually as part of measures to address nation's security challenges, with emphasis on local government areas. Also aware that the current government under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is in continuation of the policy of recruiting 10,000 constables. Also aware that the recruitment was supposed to be conducted based on equality of local governments in view of the fact that it was for community policing. Further aware that the recruitment on the basis of local government is to give effect to the federal character principles, which was born out of the need to ensure evenness in spreading government appointments to promote inclusion, representation, and sense of belonging and balance in the polity. Notes that the underlying philosophy of federal character principle is providing equality of access in public service representation to curb dominance by one or few sections of the country, either in the federal, state, or local government, or otherwise. It will create lopsidedness. Also note that Section 14(3) of the 1999 Constitution as amended captures the federal character by providing that the composition of government of the Federation or any of its agencies and the conduct of affairs shall be carried out in such a manner as to reflect federal character of Nigeria and to promote national unity and also command national loyalty, thereby ensuring that there shall be no predominance of persons from few states or from few ethnic or other sectional groups in that government or any of its agencies. Further notes that according to Section 318 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, federal character refers to distinctive desire of peoples of Nigeria to promote national unity, foster national loyalty, and give every citizen of Nigeria a sense of belonging to the nation as expressed by Section 14, subsection 3 and 4 of the Nigerian Constitution as amended. Concerned that there is currently ongoing recruitment exercise being carried out on the state basis as against the local government areas as initially contemplated for the purpose of balance of representation, equity, and fairness in the system. Also concerned that the recruitment on the state basis as against local government areas as initially contemplated and adopted will lead to disproportionate and lopsided recruitment. Persuaded that it is extremely important that a fair representation of all local government areas is always reflected in this recruitment to eschew and address
the feeling and sense of marginalization and injustice by certain zones, states, and local government in Nigerian police force. Also persuaded that we have more than enough young men and women all over the country who would meet the criteria for recruitment, which should be Nigerian origin by birth, must possess need number with a minimum of 5 credits in not more than 2 sittings in WAEC or NECO, or its equivalent with credit passes in English and mathematics, and age between 18 and 25 for 25 years for general duty, and 18 to 28 years for specialists, medically medically, physically, and psychologically fit, and must not be less than 1.6 meters tall for male and 1.64 meters tall for female, with not less than 86 cm, that is 34 inches expanded chest measurement for male only. Applicants must be free from any financial embarrassment and not convicted of any criminal offense. Convinced that the ongoing recruitment of interested and qualified Nigerians into police force as constables by Police Service Commission in conjunction with Nigerian Police Force needs to be done through the 774 local government areas in the Federation to give effect to the provisions of Section 14(3) and 4 of the Nigerian Constitution as amended to provide a level playing field and curb domination and underrepresentation. Accordingly, resolves to direct the Police Service Commission in conjunction with the Nigerian Police Force to recruit a minimum of 10, there's a typographical error, it's reading 9, but it's supposed to be 10. 10 candidates from each of the 774 local government councils in Nigeria to direct the Committee on Police Affairs and Legislative Compliance to ensure compliance. I so move.
Second, Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I want to commend my brother, Senator Emmanuel Udende, for this timeous presentation of this motion. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this motion seeks to address 2 objectives. The first one is the most important, the one that keeps Nigeria united and one country. That is, that when all sectors or sections of the country are put together as one, it engenders some sense of belonging in all of us and seeks to identify us with our country, Nigeria. The second one is the issue of marginalization and adherence to the federal principle of federal character. Federal character is a constitutional provision, and it requires that all of us, all agencies of government must adhere to the principle in order that some people do not feel greatly marginalized and create some bitterness against our country, Nigeria. Mr. President, the local government is the minutest level of government in Nigeria that represents all Nigerians. The local government, Mr. President, is the area where this banditry or insurgency or kidnapping and rest of them, they take place. And we have been at crossroads as to what level, what machinery of security outfit do we use. And very many people have said that because crimes like this take place in the local governments and in the communities, that the ideal political architecture, police security architecture to use is the community policing. And so I think that because some communities or many communities are vulnerable, and because this happens in local governments, that the ideal thing is to make sure that we have presence of security agents and agencies in all the local government. And so I think that it is germane at this time that Mr. President has agreed that we must continue with the recruitment of 10,000 police recruits every year, that we should adhere to the federal character principle. Mr. President, our phones and platforms are inundated with cries of young men and women out there that are unemployed. And I think that this is a veritable policy that can be used to effectively check the tendency of people who are idle to resort to crimes and criminality. And so I support this motion, I second this motion, and I ask my colleagues to support it, and especially with the prayers that the compliance committee of this Senate ensures that this motion does not become mere advisory notes to the executive, but that is complied with, at least to show our people out there that we are effectively representing them, especially the vulnerable communities in our local governments. I so support, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Ekon Samson, then Senator Zam will round up the debate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ekon Samson is my name. I represent Akwa Ibom South. Mr. President, this type of current appeals to me readily, but I believe that the spirit that persuaded this type of admonition is what we need to build this country. I'm a believer in Nigeria. I believe that every strand in this country must be given access to opportunity. Where we have the missing link, where we have the gap, is where some areas are denied access to opportunity. We are faced with a lot of insecurity in our parts, and I believe that recruiting into the rank and file of the Nigerian police, well spread, will drive efficiency. It will give the recruits a sense of belonging. It will also assure every part of Nigeria that they are part and parcel of this country. There is indeed great strength in section 14 of the Constitution, but that clearly throws a challenge on inclusion or inclusivity as it's canvassed in some areas. We must include, we must ensure that every part of Nigeria is brought aboard. That way, the very fabric of national cohesion is strengthened. And one area where this becomes so manifest is through our security architecture. I have been one strong believer. I am an adherent to community policing. The more our rural areas are secure, are protected, then the nearer we are to getting the type of security that we need in this country. So there is a great merit in this motion. It really addresses some of the concerns that really bother me as a pan-Nigerian, as a bridge builder. Mr. President, here in the Senate, I represent a diversity. My wife is a Edo. I represent a very diverse segment of a part of the state. And I'm always very pleased when my people see me as a bridge builder. So the spirit in this motion persuades me. I think we need thinking like this to strengthen this country, to strengthen what we canvass, and what we believe in as one Nigeria. We must ensure that our security architecture is democratized. Let us ensure that every part of Nigeria is brought in so that we can secure this country. The campaign.
Thank you. You can immediately wind up.
Clamor for state policing has a lot of merit. I think this is the beginning of a great journey. I support this mission. I support the spirit that brings us together as Nigerians. Thank you.
Last but not the least, Senator Zam, PhD ranking senator.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I am Senator Dr. Taiti Fizam. I represent Benue Northwest Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise to support this motion moved by my dear colleague, Senator Emmanuel Udende, and to also express my support to all the sentiments he expressed in building his case for truly having a police recruitment process that is predicated in our 774 local government structure of the Federation. You will agree with me that the police force is the closest security outfit to the people at the grassroots. And the democracy that we are practicing is about the people. So for us to really have a security outfit that is closest to the people to support even this democracy is for us to have a police force that reflects our grassroots. So bringing the recruitment process to local government level as canvassed by the mover of this motion means we are talking about strengthening our democracy. Rather than having a recruitment process that stems from the top, that does not really understand the challenges we have in terms of security and all of those that happen at our local level. So I support this motion, and I want to say here that every person, every colleague of mine should ensure that this motion sees the light of day. And finally, sir, a few weeks ago, I also raised a motion complaining about lopsided recruitment in the public service. Today, my dear colleague from Benue State, I'd like to plead that the Senate as an institution should bring its weight to ensuring that the cry of Benue representatives is listened to. It means there is something wrong. Thank you very much. I support this motion.
Thank you very much. We can now move to the prayers. Prayer 1, direct the Police Service Commission in conjunction with the Nigerian Police Force to recruit a minimum of 9 candidates from each. Okay. Oh, okay, 10. 10. Okay, typical error. Okay, please take note. Direct the Police Service Commission to, in conjunction with the Nigerian Police Force, to recruit a minimum of 10 candidates from each of the 774 local government councils in Nigeria. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Direct the committees on police affairs and legislative compliance to ensure compliance. Those in favor of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator Odende, for bringing forward, for moving this motion. I also thank all the senators that contributed to the debate. You've shown, Senator Odende, you've shown that you are concerned about ensuring equity and balance in terms of recruitment of the Nigerian police. And indeed, you've also shown your desire to see that we have sound and effective internal security in this country. So you are highly commended for the fact that you brought forward this motion. Thank you very much. To this end, I want to... To this end, the Senate is hereby adjourned to the 5th day, Tuesday, the 5th day of March, 2024 by 11 a.m. prompt.